Hello there, welcome to Lotus Sleep. You lie down, but something inside you remains awake. It's not that your body is tired, it is. Your limbs are heavy, your eyes ache with the weight of the day. But your mind is still standing guard, watching, waiting, listening for danger that never comes, or perhaps already came long ago. And then, just as you begin to drift, it happens. A shadow moves at the edge of your awareness. A sound that isn't there. A presence behind you that vanishes when you turn. Or worse, you're falling, running, trapped, screaming silently into a void that swallows every sound. You wake with your heart pounding, drenched in sweat, breath shallow and fast. The room is safe. The night is quiet. But your nervous system doesn't know that yet. It's still back there, in the dream, where everything felt real. If this is you tonight, you are not broken, you are not weak, and this is not your fault. Nightmares are not signs of spiritual failure. They are not punishments. They are not proof that something is wrong with you. They are simply the mind's way of speaking when no one has been listening during the day. For centuries, Buddhist practitioners have met the night not with fear, but with tenderness. Not by fighting darkness, but by learning how to sit quietly within it, until the darkness itself becomes a kind of shelter. So tonight, let us not fight the night. Let us not try to fix sleep or banish dreams or force calm onto a restless mind. Instead, let us simply be here with whatever arises. Because peace does not begin when nightmares stop. Peace begins when you stop believing you must be free of them to rest. You don't need to solve anything tonight. You only need to be here, and you already are. So breathe. Let your shoulders soften into the pillow. Let your hands grow heavy beside you. There is no rush, no goal, no performance expected of you. Just this, the quiet company of your own breath, and the gentle wisdom of those who have walked this path before you. Welcome home. You are not failing because fear visits you at night. You are not broken because your body tenses when the dream begins. You are not weak because your breath quickens in the dark. These are not signs of spiritual inadequacy. They are signs that you are human, deeply, tenderly, beautifully human. And in the heart of Buddhist practice, especially in the lineage of Zen master Thich Nhat, there is a teaching so gentle it feels like being wrapped in warm cloth on a cold night. Fear is like a child crying in the night. If you push it away, it cries louder. If you hold it, it slowly calms. Let those words settle into you now, not as instruction, but as invitation. Because so much of our suffering around nightmares doesn't come from the dream itself, but from how we treat the part of us that dreamed it. We scold ourselves. Why am I still afraid? We judge. I've meditated for years. This shouldn't happen. We resist. Not again. Not tonight. But what if, instead of fighting, we simply turned toward? What if, in the middle of the dream, or upon waking from it, we whispered not commands, but companionship? This is the essence of mindfulness as love, not mindfulness as control, not as performance, but as presence with compassion. Thich Nhat, who lived through war, exile, and profound loss, never taught that peace meant the absence of fear. He taught that peace meant the presence of care, even for the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. He often said that every emotion, even terror, carries a message, and the way to hear that message is not by silencing it, but by holding it. Imagine this: A small child wakes in the middle of the night, trembling from a nightmare. She runs to her parents' room, eyes wide, breath shallow. She doesn't need a lecture on why monsters aren't real. She doesn't need to be told, "You're too old for this." She needs arms around her, a soft voice saying, "I'm here." A hand stroking her hair until her breathing slows. That's all. No fixing, no reasoning, just presence. Now imagine that child is you. Not the adult you, the responsible one. The one who pays bills and plans meals and keeps everything together. But the part of you that still carries old wounds, unprocessed grief, forgotten fears, that part doesn't need discipline. It needs dignity. It needs to know it belongs. And that is exactly what Thich Nhat Hanh invites us to offer. Not just to others, but to ourselves. So tonight, if fear rises, if your chest tightens, if shadows gather at the edge of your awareness, try this very simple practice. It takes less than 10 seconds, but its effect can ripple through your entire nervous system. As you inhale, gently say inside, "I know fear is here." As you exhale, offer softly, "I am here for you." That's it. No need to change the feeling. No need to understand its origin. No need to make it go away. Just acknowledge its presence and offer your own. This is not passive. This is profoundly active. The most courageous act of kindness you can give yourself in the dark, because what you're doing is saying, "You don't have to hide anymore. I see you, and I'm not leaving." In Buddhist psychology, this is called embracing with mindfulness. It's not about eliminating suffering, but about changing your relationship to it. Think of fear not as an intruder, but as a messenger who has been knocking for a long time, only no one was home to answer. Now, you're home. And when you open the door with kindness instead of suspicion, the messenger doesn't need to shout anymore. Over time, with repeated practice, something remarkable happens. The nightmares may still come, but their texture changes. The images may remain, but their grip loosens. Because you are no longer running from the dream. You are meeting it. And in that meeting, healing begins, not as a dramatic event, but as a quiet shift in the atmosphere of your inner world. Thich Nhat Hanh once wrote, "When another person makes you suffer, it is because he suffers deeply within himself, and his suffering spills over. But when you suffer, and you look deeply, you will see that your suffering also comes from unattended pain within." The same is true for nightmares. They are not attacks from outside. They are echoes from within. Echoes of moments when you were too young, too overwhelmed, too alone to process what was happening. Now you are older. You are safer. You are capable of holding what you once could not. So let your breath be the bridge between then and now. Let your awareness be the sanctuary where all parts of you are welcome. Even the terrified ones, even the ashamed ones, even the ones that believe they don't deserve rest. Because they do. And so do you. Rest now. Breathe in, "I know you're here." Breathe out, "I'm not leaving." And let that be your prayer tonight. During the day you wear masks. Not literal masks, but roles. You are the employee who stays calm under pressure. The parent who never loses patience. The friend who always has wise advice. The partner who holds space without needing anything in return. These roles are necessary. They help you function in the world, but they are not the whole truth. Beneath them lies a deeper layer of your being, one that doesn't speak in sentences, but in symbols, one that doesn't argue logically, but expresses through images, sensations, and emotions. This is the language of the unconscious mind, and it speaks most clearly at night. When the lights go out and the roles fall away, the inner world finally gets to speak. And sometimes it speaks in nightmares. But here's the crucial point. Nightmares are not punishments. They are appeals. They are not random glitches in your brain. They are meaningful communications from parts of you that have been silenced during the day. Think of it this way. During daylight hours, your conscious mind is like a busy office manager, sorting emails, scheduling meetings, keeping everything running smoothly. It filters experience through logic, social norms, and survival strategies. But your unconscious mind, it's like the archive room in the basement, where all the unfiled letters, unsent messages, and unprocessed memories are stored. At night, when the office closes, the archive opens, and what comes out isn't neat or tidy. It's raw, unfiltered, sometimes chaotic. A falling sensation might not mean you're afraid of heights. It might symbolize a loss of control in your life. Being chased might not mean you're in danger. It might reflect a part of yourself you've been avoiding. Being trapped might not mean you're powerless. It might point to a situation where you feel your voice isn't heard. The dream doesn't care about literal truth. It cares about emotional truth, and it will use whatever imagery is most potent to get your attention. This is why trying to interpret every dream can be misleading. You don't need to decode the symbols like a puzzle. What matters is your relationship to the dream. Are you fighting it, fleeing from it, or meeting it with curiosity? The Buddha never taught dream analysis, but he did teach clear seeing, the ability to observe experience without distortion. And that's exactly what you can bring to your nightmares. Instead of asking, "What does this mean?" ask gently, "What part of me is trying to be seen?" Because every nightmare carries a seed of wholeness. It's not the monster you fear. It's the part of you that created the monster to protect you from something even more painful. Perhaps it's grief you never fully felt after a loss. Perhaps it's shame from a moment when you believed you failed. Perhaps it's anxiety about a future you can't control, but your mind replays it as a past trauma because the past feels more manageable. Dreams compress time. They blend past, present, and future into a single image. Because, to the nervous system, emotional truth transcends chronology. So when you wake from a nightmare, don't rush to fix it. Instead, place a hand on your heart and say, "Thank you for trying to tell me something." Then, simply breathe. Let your body know it's safe now. Let your mind know it doesn't have to solve anything tonight. Because the dream has already done its work. It got your attention. Now, your only task is to respond with kindness. Over time, as you meet your dreams this way, their tone shifts. The monsters soften. The chases end. The traps open. Not because the content changes overnight, but because you change your stance. You stop being the victim in the dream. You become the witness. And in that witnessing, freedom arises. Remember, the mind speaks in dreams not to torment you, but because it trusts you enough to show you what's hidden. Honor that trust. Meet the dream not with fear, but with the quiet courage of presence. And slowly, the night becomes not a battlefield, but a sacred space of integration. Rest now. Let your breath carry you back to the present. The dream was a message. You've received it. Now, let it go. There was once a man who could not sleep. Every night, without fail, he dreamed he was being chased. Through dense forests where branches clawed at his face. Down narrow alleyways where footsteps echoed behind him. Across empty fields under a moon that cast long, grasping shadows. He never saw who or what was chasing him, but he could feel it, hear it, taste the metallic fear in his mouth as he ran. He would wake gasping, drenched in sweat, heart pounding like a drum. He tried everything: herbs, prayers, sleeping facing east, avoiding heavy meals at night. Nothing worked. Finally, desperate, he traveled for days to find a renowned Zen teacher known for his deep stillness. When he arrived, exhausted and trembling, he fell to his knees and poured out his story. The teacher listened in silence. When the man finished, the teacher did not offer advice. He did not suggest rituals or mantras. He simply looked at the man and asked one question. In the dream, who is running? The man blinked. That's me, he said. I'm the one running. And who is being chased? Also me. The teacher nodded slowly. Then perhaps the chase ends. Not when the pursuer stops, but when the one running stops running. The man sat in silence for a long time. He had never considered that he was both sides of the dream, the fear, and the one fleeing it. That night, as he lay down, he remembered the teacher's words. And when the dream began again, the forest, the footsteps, the rising dread, he did something different. Instead of running, he turned around. He stood still. He faced the darkness behind him. And in that moment, the dream shifted. The pursuer did not attack. It simply stopped and then dissolved into mist. The man woke, not in panic, but in quiet awe. He realized the nightmare wasn't about being hunted. It was about running from himself, from parts of his experience he had deemed too dangerous, too shameful, too overwhelming to face. But the moment he stopped fleeing, the threat lost its power. Because it was never outside him. It was always inside, and waiting only for his attention. This story is not about conquering fear. It's about ending the split within yourself. So often, we treat our inner world as a war zone. Good versus bad, light versus dark, calm versus chaos. But Zen teaches that wholeness comes not from victory, but from inclusion. The part of you that dreams the nightmare is not your enemy. It is a fragment of your psyche that has been exiled, sent into the shadows because it carried pain you weren't ready to hold. But exile doesn't make pain disappear. It makes it louder. Only welcome makes it quiet. So tonight, if you find yourself in a dream of pursuit, remember this story. Ask gently, who is running? And if you can, just pause, stand still, breathe. Let the dream unfold, not as a battle, but as a meeting. Because what you fear most may simply be a part of you asking to come home. And when you say yes, the chase ends, not because the pursuer vanishes, but because you finally stop running. Rest now. You are safe, not because the dream is safe, but because you are no longer divided against yourself. There is a law in nature, and in the mind, that is rarely spoken of, but deeply true. Whatever you resist, persists. Push against a wave, and it crashes harder. Fight a thought, and it grows louder. try to suppress a feeling, and it leaks out in dreams. This is not punishment, it is physics. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. And fear, when met with resistance, has nowhere to go but deeper underground, until it erupts in the only place left, your sleep. But what happens when you stop resisting? Not because you're brave, not because you've conquered fear, but simply because you're too tired to fight anymore. In that surrender, not defeat, but release, something remarkable occurs. The dream begins to soften, not because the content changes immediately, but because your relationship to it changes. Imagine holding a fist tightly for hours. Muscles ache, tendons strain, blood flow slows. Now imagine slowly opening your hand, not forcing it, not demanding it relax, just letting go. The tension doesn't vanish instantly, but the grip loosens, and with it, the pain eases. This is what happens when you stop fighting your nightmares. You don't have to welcome them. You don't have to understand them. You just stop pushing them away. You allow them to be as passing weather in the vast sky of your awareness. And in that allowing, their power to disturb you diminishes. Because suffering is not the dream itself. Suffering is the war you wage against the dream. The Buddha taught, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. The nightmare may come, but the torment, that's added by the mind that says, this shouldn't be happening. Tonight, try this. If a disturbing image arises, if your chest tightens, if your breath quickens, don't try to calm down. Just whisper inside, it's okay that this is here, not because it's pleasant, but because resistance only tightens the knot. Whereas acceptance, even reluctant, weary acceptance, creates space. And in that space, peace can enter. You don't need courage to face the dark. You only need the willingness to stop running from it. Because the moment you stop resisting, the dream loses its teeth. And you remember, you were never truly in danger. You were only dreaming you were. Rest now, let go. Not of the dream, but of the fight. Let yourself sink a little deeper now, into the mattress, into the breath, into the quiet certainty that you are already held, because there is something inside you, something so steady, so vast, so unshaken, that no nightmare, no matter how vivid or terrifying, can ever touch it. You may not always feel it. In the grip of a dream, it can seem as though fear is you, as though the panic, the running, the falling, the suffocating darkness defines your entire being. But it doesn't, it never has, and it never will. What you are is far larger than any image the mind can conjure. To understand this, let's return, not to philosophy, but to direct experience. Right now, as you listen, notice this simple truth. Even if a memory of last night's nightmare returns, even if your shoulders tense slightly at the thought, even if your breath becomes shallow for a moment, there is still something aware of all of it. That awareness is not afraid. It does not flinch. It simply knows, fear is here. Tension is here. Memory is here. This knowing presence, calm, open, undisturbed, is your true nature. In Buddhist teachings, this is sometimes called Rigpa in the Tibetan tradition, or Prajna in Sanskrit, the luminous clarity that underlies all experience. But you don't need a name for it. You only need to recognize it. And you can recognize it right now, not by thinking about it, but by resting in it. Imagine the sky, not the weather, the clouds, the thunderstorms, the lightning, but the sky itself, The sky does not become angry when a storm rolls through. It does not try to push the rain away. It does not identify with the wind. It simply holds everything. Clouds come, clouds go, the sky remains. Your awareness is like that sky. Nightmares are storms. Intense, yes, loud, sometimes, but temporary. And you, the one who notices the storm, are the space in which it moves. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is not denial. This is seeing clearly. When you wake from a nightmare drenched in sweat, heart racing, throat tight, it's natural to believe, for a few moments, that you are the terror. But if you pause, just for one breath, and ask gently, who is aware of this fear? You'll find something else. Something quiet. Something that was never afraid. This is the heart of the Buddha's teaching on anatta, often translated as no self. But that phrase can be misleading. The Buddha wasn't saying you don't exist. He was pointing to the fact that you are not what you think you are. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not even your body, though you dwell within it lovingly. You are the awareness in which all these arise, and that awareness cannot be harmed. A nightmare may shake the surface of your mind like a stone thrown into a pond, but the depth of the pond remains still. You are that depth. So tonight, if a dream begins to pull you under, if shadows gather, if voices whisper, if the ground seems to vanish beneath you, remember this: you are not drowning. You are the ocean, and oceans do not drown. They hold, they receive, they transform. There is an old Zen saying, the wave is water, the water is not the wave. Your fear is real, like the wave is real, but your essence is like the water, unchanged by the shape it temporarily takes. This understanding doesn't erase nightmares, but it changes your relationship to them completely. Instead of being the character in the dream, running, hiding, screaming, you become the silent witness of the dream. And in that shift, power returns to you. Not the power of control, but the power of freedom. Because when you know you are the sky, you stop fearing the storm. You might even begin to see the storm as part of the sky's expression. Wild, yes, but not separate from wholeness. Try this now, as you lie here. Bring to mind a recent nightmare, not to relive it, but to observe it from a place of safety. See the images, hear the sounds, feel the sensations. Now, instead of identifying with the frightened self in the dream, ask softly, who is watching this? Don't strain for an answer. Just rest in the question. Notice the space around the memory. Notice the stillness beneath the story. That space, that stillness, is you. And it has never been touched, never been broken, never been lost. This is why the Buddha said, liberation is not something to attain. It is something to recognize. You are already free, not after the nightmare ends, not when your mind is perfectly calm, not when you've healed enough. Now, even with fear present, even with uncertainty, even with the echo of last night's dream lingering in your bones, you are safe. Not because danger is absent, but because your true nature cannot be endangered. So, let the dream come. Let it rage. Let it whisper its ancient warnings. You do not need to fight it. You only need to remember, you are the space in which it appears. And space cannot be wounded. Rest now. Let your body soften into the bed. Let your breath slow like a tide returning to shore. You are not small. You are not fragile. You are vast. And in that vastness, every dream, however dark, is held in perfect safety. Because you are the holder, and the holder is peace. Many people hear the word karma and feel a tightening in the chest, a subtle shame, a whisper that says, "This is my fault. I must have done something wrong." Perhaps you've woken from a nightmare and thought, "Is this karma? Am I being punished for something I did, this life or another?" If so, please hear this with kindness. Karma is not punishment. It never was. In the original Pali teachings of the Buddha, kamma, the Pali root of karma, simply means action, and more precisely, intentional action. Every time you speak, move, or even think with intention, you plant a seed, not in some cosmic ledger of reward and retribution, but in your own nervous system, your own heart, your own cellular memory. Karma is not fate handed down from above. Karma is memory written in the language of the body. Think of it like this. When you were young, perhaps very young, you experienced something overwhelming. Maybe it was neglect. Maybe it was violence. Maybe it was simply the unbearable weight of feeling unseen. At that moment, your developing mind and body did what all living systems do. They adapted. You learned to freeze, to please, to disappear, to stay hyper alert, scanning for danger even in safe places. Those adaptations saved you then. But now, years later, your body still carries that learning, even when the original threat is long gone. And at night, when the rational mind sleeps, the body speaks. It replays old patterns. It reenacts unresolved moments. It tries, again and again, to complete what was interrupted. This is not punishment. This is memory seeking integration. In modern neuroscience, we call this implicit memory, emotional and somatic imprints that live below conscious awareness but shape our reactions, our dreams, our sense of safety. In Buddhism, this is karma, not as destiny, but as unfinished business of the heart. And the beautiful news is this: karma is not fixed. It can be softened, healed, transformed. How? Not by erasing the past, but by meeting it with presence. The Buddha taught that every karmic pattern, every habitual reaction, every recurring fear can be unwound through mindful awareness. When you bring gentle attention to a painful memory, not to analyze it, but to feel it with compassion, you create a new neural pathway. You tell your nervous system, "It's okay now, you're not alone anymore." And over time, the old imprint loses its charge. This is why Buddhist practice is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning home to yourself, to the parts you had to abandon in order to survive. So if your nightmares feel like echoes of old wounds, of childhood fear, of betrayal, of helplessness, know this: you are not being haunted. You are being invited. Invited to offer the care that was missing then. Invited to say to that younger part of you, "I see you. I'm here now. You don't have to carry this alone." This is not metaphor. It is direct healing. Try this practice the next time you wake from a disturbing dream. Place one hand on your heart. Breathe slowly, and whisper, not to the dream, but to the part of you that lived it, "I know you were trying to protect me. Thank you for carrying this so long. You can rest now. I've got you." Feel the warmth of your hand. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. This simple act of acknowledging, thanking, and reassuring begins to rewire the karmic pattern, because karma thrives in isolation, but it dissolves in connection. You are not paying for past mistakes. you are remembering how to be whole. And wholeness is not the absence of pain. Wholeness is the inclusion of all parts, especially the ones that have been exiled. In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, there is a practice called chod, where practitioners visualize offering their own body to demons. Not out of fear, but out of radical generosity. Why? Because the demons represent unmet aspects of the self. By feeding them, not with food, but with attention and love, they transform from enemies into allies. Your nightmares are your inner demons, not evil, not malicious, just hungry. Hungry for your attention, hungry for your kindness, hungry for your presence. So instead of fighting them, feed them, not with logic, not with solutions, but with the quiet certainty that says, you belong here too. This is how karma becomes compassion. This is how memory becomes medicine. And this is how the night, once a place of dread, becomes a sanctuary of healing. Rest now. You are not guilty. You are human. And your humanity includes every scar, every shadow, every dream. All of it is welcome here, because you are not less for having suffered. You are more because you are learning to hold it all with love. The mind loves stories. It spins tales of past regrets and future worries. It replays conversations that never happened. It imagines disasters that may never come. And at night, when the world is quiet, the mind often turns inward and begins to dream. But the body does not tell stories. The body only knows now. It knows the weight of your hips sinking into the mattress, the coolness of the sheet against your forearm, the gentle rise and fall of your belly with each breath. The body remembers how to rest, long before you learn to worry, long before you built walls around your heart, long before you started believing you had to earn rest. Your body knew how to sleep. It still does. So tonight, let the body lead, not the mind, with its plans, its analyses, its desperate attempts to get sleep right. The body. Because the body trusts the night. It trusts gravity. It trusts breath. It trusts the rhythm of darkness and dawn. And if you let it, it will guide you back to sleep, not through effort, but through surrender. Here's a simple way to begin. Place one hand gently on your lower belly, just below the navel. Or if that feels too stimulating, place both hands on your chest, over your heart. Feel the warmth of your palms. Feel the slight movement beneath them as you breathe. Don't try to change your breath. Don't make it deeper or slower. Just let it be exactly as it is. Shallow, that's okay. Uneven, that's okay too. Your breath doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be yours. Now, shift your attention from your thoughts to your sensations. Notice the points of contact between your body and the bed. Your heels resting on the sheet. Your shoulder blades pressing softly into the pillow. The curve of your spine supported by the mattress. Feel the weight of your body, not as something to fix, but as something to trust. Gravity is holding you. The earth is receiving you. You don't have to hold yourself up anymore. Let go. Let your jaw soften. Let your tongue rest heavy in your mouth. Let your eyelids grow warm and still. This is not meditation as performance. This is embodiment as prayer. In the Theravada Buddhist tradition, there is a practice called Kayagatasati, mindfulness immersed in the body. It's not about escaping the body, but returning to it as a refuge, because the body is always in the present, while the mind races through time. The body remains anchored in this breath, this sensation, this moment. And in that anchoring, peace is possible. So if your mind begins to wander, to a nightmare from last week, to anxiety about tomorrow, don't scold it. Gently return to sensation, to weight, to warmth, to breath. You don't need to clear your mind to sleep. You only need to trust your body. Your body knows how to rest. It has done it thousands of times before. It doesn't need instructions. It only needs your permission to do what it already knows how to do. So give it that permission now. Let your muscles soften like sand settling at the bottom of a river. Let your breath flow like a quiet stream under moonlight. There is no goal here, no deep sleep to achieve. Only this, the simple act of letting your body be exactly as it is, heavy, tired, human, and profoundly wise. In fact, your body is wiser than your mind about rest. Your mind might say, "You should be asleep by now," but your body says, "I am resting, even while awake." And it's right. Rest is not the absence of wakefulness. Rest is the presence of release. So release now. Let your hands grow heavy beside you. Let your feet melt into the bed. Let your breath become so soft, it almost disappears. You are not trying to fall asleep. You are simply being with your body, as a friend, as a companion, as a home. And in that companionship, sleep will come, not as a conquest, but as a gift, because the body, when trusted, always returns to balance. It regulates, it heals, it restores. All you need to do is stop interfering. Stop watching the clock. Stop judging your thoughts. Stop trying to do it right. Just be here, with the rise and fall of your belly, with the cool air entering your nostrils, with the deep, quiet hum of your aliveness. This is enough, more than enough. You are not failing because your mind is active. You are succeeding simply by being here, present, tender, willing. And that willingness is the seed of peace. So let the body lead. Let it remind you, I know the way back to rest. Just follow me. Follow the breath. Follow the weight. Follow the silence between thoughts. And soon, without effort, without striving, you will drift, not into oblivion, but into the deep, nourishing embrace of sleep, where you are held, where you are safe, where you belong. Rest now. Your body is home. There is nothing you need to fix tonight. No nightmare to banish. No fear to conquer. No perfect sleep to achieve. The night does not need your improvement. It only asks for your presence. So let go of all effort. Let go of all expectation. You don't have to do sleep right. You only have to be here, as you are, tired, tender, human, and that is more than enough. Because peace is not the absence of disturbance. Peace is the presence of acceptance. And you already have that. Right here, right now, in this breath, in this stillness, in this quiet act of allowing. So close your eyes, if they're not closed already. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands rest like fallen leaves. And hear these final words, not as instruction, but as blessing. You are allowed to rest, not when the mind is quiet, not when the dreams stop, not when you've earned it. Now, exactly as you are. Sleep well, dear one. The night holds you, and you are safe.